So, good evening. I have a story to tell you that's going to be a tad shocking if you don't know me. So I'll give you just a brief synopsis of who you're dealing with, and then the story will be easier to take. I'm half redneck on my dad's side. Yeah, half hippie on my mom's side. Okay, which basically means I'm a little bit sensitive. Yeah, but I'm also kind of an asshole. All right? I smoke weed, but I look like a narc, you know? I voted for Hillary, but I look like I voted for Trump. Come on, how many of you thought I was going to get up here and talk about the many fantastic things about conceal and carry law, you know? Yes. So, I grew up that way, so that being said, you'll understand that this story takes place in a two-car garage in Northern California about a week before my wedding in 2005. And it looks exactly like a two-car garage because up until about a week ago, it had been a grow room. There had been a illicit, illegal, secret grow room in this garage. And I had spent the last week dismantling it. Now, I had gotten wrangled into this by some friends of mine because those are the kind of friends I had, apparently. But also, like, I got to tell you, at this time, I really didn't smoke much pot or do any of that kind of thing, but I kind of got pegged as a good carpenter and a guy that would keep his mouth shut, you know? So, I was also, didn't know that this, even though this is one of my good friend's dads, I didn't realize that this grow room had been there for like 20 years inside this garage, and not even the neighbors knew about it. So my first thought was like, holy shit, how long have you guys been doing this? And my second thought was like, you're gonna pay me what? Okay, yeah, sure, let's do it. So they were paying me in cash, and it was wonderful, and in a few days, I had this whole place looking like a garage again, like it had always been a garage, you know? And then it came to the last day when I find out from Wes, my friend's dad, that I have to help him disconnect the power supply to the old grow room, which I didn't want to do because I kind of knew how it was hooked up. It was hooked up by a friend of his 20 years ago who had given him basically a free power supply. And the way that he had done that was he had hooked up a special kind of splice onto these wires right before everything hits the meter in your house. And I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm not going to do anything. I have no interest in this project. But then he hands me an extra $200 and says, Tom, I need you to go get some rubber mats and some rubber gloves, an electrically rated screwdriver, and don't tell my son about this. And it's at that point that I realized, holy cow, I'm here to keep him alive. That's why he hired me. That's why I'm helping him do this. Because he doesn't know anything about electricity at all. But he's going to disconnect it. And if I don't go and he dies, I'm going to feel responsible, you know? And I had lost my parents just a few years before this, so I kind of felt obligated to try and help my friend's dad stay alive for at least another couple years, you know? And so I go and I get everything, and a couple hours later, I'm standing behind him in this garage as he's getting ready to unscrew these screws, and I'm thinking about my wife, my future wife here in Philadelphia, who would be so pissed if she knew what I was doing on this afternoon. This is a week before my wedding, and she's a goody two-shoes. Like, she wouldn't think this is funny at all. That's why I still haven't told her this story. But the reason I can tell you is because it's been longer than 10 years. The statute of limitations is up, you know? So I'm standing there, and adrenaline is coursing through my veins. I've got a 2x4 against his back in case he gets electrocuted by this high voltage. And he starts to unscrew them. And all of a sudden, no, I'm just kidding. It didn't, nothing. There was nothing happened. It was quiet. He unscrewed them and everything went fine. And I just woke up from this. I didn't wake up. I mean, it wasn't a dream. I'm not trying to tell you guys this was a dream. This really happened. But I just kind of like all of a sudden snapped to, and I'm covered in sweat. And I'm like, oh my God, this was one of the most intense things that ever happened, you know? But it was fantastic because it was one of the first times in my life I was happy that nothing happened, you know? So we left. Nobody got arrested. I got married. And if you ask, I will tell you that I did not happen to pee just a little bit. I will always deny that. All right, that's it. Thank you.